Hi, welcome to Analytical Media. We are a consortium, a group of therapists, college professors, well-published, peer-reviewed authors, and academics. You can find our book on psychopathy, entitled Descent into Darkness, at Amazon.com. The book analyzes the murder of Travis Alexander by Jodi Ann Arias, all from the perspective of psychopathy. Today we're going to talk about Jung and Maslow, Carl Jung and Maslow, and we're going to compare the similarities between their theories. We aren't looking at every aspect of their theories. We're really looking at only that which has to do with mental health, with happiness, with contentment, with meaning, with purpose, just the parts related to the development of a human being, bringing that human being into full contentment, acceptance, realization of its existence. And that comes through the core concepts for Jung of individuation and of Maslow of self-actualization. Jung, by the way, was a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, and Maslow was a PhD in motivation and personality. If you only knew the work of two men, it should be these two. When it comes to psychology, therapy, treatment, the work of these two men. They tell you why you become depressed. They tell you how to become happy, how to grow well, how to find meaning in life, how to be happy with your existence, how to cure your problems. They both tell you that, and that's all you really need to know. They both believe that the unconscious mind is the beginning of our consciousness, of you. It's the beginning of us. We emerge from the unconscious. Jung believed we return to the unconscious when we die. We don't rot away in the ground. We return to the unconscious mind. He thought his job while he was alive was to gather all he could from this world, the conscious world, and bring that back to the unconscious, send it back, to bring it with him when he died, to send that information to the unconscious at night when we go to sleep, when we return to the unconscious. In that mind is the real you, the essence of you. It is full of potential that could only be realized in the conscious world. It's unrealized potential now in the unconscious, but you could make it real. You could bring it into being. And Maslow calls that actualizing the self, or self-actualization. Jung calls it individuation. You can see, making the individual. Individuation, becoming unique. And if you bring the real you into being, you will be happy. And if you don't, there'll be a pressure put on you, an emotional pressure from the unconscious. This emotional pressure will be various aspects of negative emotional feelings. It could be anxiety. It could certainly be depression. It's putting pressure on you to bring you closer, to forget the nonsense of life, all the nonsensical things you believe in, and bring you closer to the real you in the unconscious, which will make you happy. Moving away from the real you will make you unhappy and depressed and anxious, and moving towards it, becoming closer to who you are, what you are, will make you happy, give you meaning, fulfillment, contentment. I thought the best way to talk about this, in fact, a group of us thought this would be the best, we've prepared some notes here, would be to look at direct quotations from Jung on individuation and Maslow on self-actualization. So let's begin. Hope you recognize where we're at here. We're talking about this a bit difficult to understand concept of the real you, the true self that lies in the unconscious mind. That's the basis. That's your core being. Your job in life is to take that core and bring it into the real world, into the three-dimensional reality with time as the fourth dimension. So we're going to start with Jung. This is his first quote on individuation. Quote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Think about that for a second. How can you become something that you are? How can you change something to be what it already is? He says, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Well, you are who you truly are, aren't you? No. I mean, logically you would be, except where he's combining this. He's saying who you truly are is in the unconscious mind. And your privilege is to become, in this world, what you are in the other world. Now, I'm going to read you another quote here. "The only meaningful life is a life that strives for the individual realization." For the individual realization. Substitute the word self for individual, means the same thing. The individual, that self, that person. Could say personal realization. We're going to substitute the word self for the word individual. So self-realization or self-actualization. It means the same thing. To make it actual is to make it real. It means exactly the same thing. So let's strive for the individual realization, absolute and unconditional, of its own particular law. To the extent that a man is untrue to the law of his being, he has failed to realize his own life's meaning. This is a complicated way to say that the self, the true self in the unconscious, is your law. It's unique to you, of its own particular law. And he says, to the extent that a man is untrue to the law of his being, see, core realization, core being, core you, the inside, the perfect you, the thing at your core, to the extent that a man is untrue to that law, he has failed to realize his own life's meaning. So he's saying there is no freedom when you're in the conscious world and the conscious mind is making its decisions and deciding what to do. It can do whatever it wants, but not without consequence. Yeah, he can marry this person. He can marry another person and never get divorced from the first person. He can do whatever he wants. He can save people, he can kill people. He can save money or he can rob banks. But in this world, there will be consequences. Go to jail, you get arrested, you get shot. However, in the unconscious world, to the extent that a man is untrue to the law of his being, or the laws of his being, or the physics of his being, the uniqueness, he has failed to realize his own life's meaning. And there will be consequences to pay. You're not going to jail for it. You're not getting arrested for it. But you will become anxious or depressed. You will develop mental health issues, probably both. Severe depression, over time, first you just don't feel good, something's wrong, and then it gets worse and worse, and eventually you don't want to get out of bed. All you want to do is sleep. That is the same as what Maslow says about self-actualization. And I'll give you another Jungian quote, because we're talking here about depression, anxiety, mental health issues, where things aren't good. Maybe you don't have self-confidence. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you're afraid. You have negative emotions. And what does Jung say about that? He says man, meaning mankind, humankind, not men separate in any way from women. When we say mankind, that's it. It's everything, right? It's not just the males in mankind. Mankind means all living human beings, mankind. So he says man becomes whole, integrated, calm, fertile. Not meaning he has children or she has children, but meaning productive in life, fertile, and happy when and only when the process of individuation is complete, when the conscious and the unconscious have learned to live at peace and to complement one another. What peace is this he speaks of? It's the peaceful feelings. It's the removal of all the negative feelings. They're living at peace. One is not assaulting the other in any way. You learn to conform to that which you belong. You conform to the thing you belong to, the real you, the true self. And it isn't because you're being forced to do it. It's just the opposite. You're being punished for not doing it. And you're not being punished by anything other than your own mind. You want to be happy today? Then find something happy to do. Find the right thing for you. You want to read a book that you're going to like? Well, find a book of the type with which you like. If you want a happy life, you need to complement the unconscious. Find out who you are and be that person. Become who you are. You will be happy when you are who you were meant to be. When Jung says that the conscious and the unconscious have to learn to live at peace and to complement one another, he's not saying that the unconscious mind says, hey, conscious mind, you're looking really good today. And the conscious mind says, yeah, unconscious, you're great. You're a really great guy. I love the way you think. I love the way you put stuff together. You're a great person. I love this. You're good. That's not the compliment he's talking about. He's not saying, wow, conscious mind, you're looking hot today. No, he's not talking about that. He means complement the way two colors complement each other to make something better. The way the pillows on your couch complement your couch. There's no conversing going on. Hey, pillow, looking good. Hey, couch, love the way you have your cushion set up today. Great look. It's not talking about that. It's just that those yellow pillows on a blue couch can be very good. It's the way that opposite colors on a color wheel complement each other. It's the way red complements green, because red is a primary color and yellow and blue are two other primary colors. They oppose each other on the color wheel, so red opposes yellow and blue, and when you mix yellow with blue, what color do you get? You get green. And that's why purple complements yellow, because they are opposite each other on a color wheel. You have yellow, and opposite yellow, we have red and blue. Red and blue, when you mix them together, you get purple. So yellow complements purple. The conscious mind and what it does and thinks and what it's doing in this three-dimensional world, the conscious mind complements the unconscious mind. It fits in, it pieces together. It's an extension. They're working together. And the unconscious mind can help you because it controls your emotions. It can help direct you to what will make you happy in life. That's all it's trying to do. Another Jungian quote before we move on to Maslow. Jung says, one cannot individuate or self-actualize, grow, as long as one is playing a role to oneself. A role, that means not being real. When you're playing a role, you're acting. The role you might be playing is business executive, millionaire, dentist, surgeon, school teacher. You're playing the role. You're not being real. You just figure out what those people do, what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to talk like, look like, what they're supposed to say, what political party they're supposed to belong to. And you play the role because you're not being real. You don't know how to be real. You only become real when you make the conscious mind like the unconscious mind. Then you become real. They must work together. And Jung goes on, being the very bright individual that he always was. The convictions one has about oneself are the most subtle form of persona and the most subtle obstacle against any true individuation. The convictions one has about oneself. How sure are you about anything about yourself? If you have convictions, you do not have an open mind. You're not ready to move, to adjust, to be flexible. You're sure you're this. You're sure you're a Republican. You're sure in your race. You're sure that you're biased. You're sure that you're unbiased. It's the convictions that you really don't know. I mean, these convictions, you should do this as a conviction. You should not do that. It's a conviction. All those things limit your freedom. He says, the most subtle obstacle against any true individuation. And he goes on, finally, I'll finish up this quote. We are like onions with many skins, and we have to peel ourselves again and again in order to get at the real core. So he's saying you have to rip apart all those beliefs you have. Everything's up for grabs. It's true in therapy too. When you go in for therapy, you can't say, hey, I want to talk about my job. I don't want to talk about my wife. I don't want to talk about my children. I don't want to talk about my husband. I don't want to change any of those things. They're fine. I just want to deal with my job. Well, you can't do that. You've got to go where the problem is. It's like saying there's a leak in the kitchen coming from the ceiling, and you get the repair guy out, and you say, yeah, I want that ceiling fixed, but I do not want you going up on the roof. Or I do not want you looking at the water pipes. So you made up your mind already that you can't go after the real problem because it could be the roof is leaking. That'll stop the water. Could be that a pipe is leaking. And that will stop the water. And working up on a roof would do you no good. Putting a whole new roof on would do you no good. When you peel away a skin, it's like peeling away a persona. Because you're peeling away what you know, you see and recognize in the mirror, what you believe. You're peeling it away to reveal what's underneath. You have to be open-minded. You cannot have convictions. Keep an open mind. You must. The only conviction you have is to the truth. That's the only conviction. If in therapy you find out that the mother that you love and adore is actually a rotten human being who's been trying to hurt you for 37 years, you have to be open to that. You have to be open to the truth. Is it true or not true? If the truth is you should not have gotten married and should not have had children, if that's the truth, you have to be open to that. You have to be open to the truth. Wherever the truth takes you is where you have to go. And you can peel off many outer layers of your being to get there, and should. And eventually you can't go. You can't peel any more away. You're at the truth. There is nothing under this layer. There's no artificial things that you've been trained and taught by the outer world. Things that are different from the real you that lives in the unconscious. Now, let's look at Maslow. The similarities here are amazing. I'll tell you what, let's not look at Maslow. Let's finish up. I have two other Jungian quotes that were provided to me. And I didn't want this video to get too long, but I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this up because it would be the right thing to do. On to the last two Jungian quotes on individuation. Jung says, individuation does not shut one out from the world, but gathers the world to oneself. So you would think that becoming an individual is coming down from the many to the one. So when you come down to the one, you've shut out all the other ones or the rest of the world. So you're shutting them out one by one because you're becoming an individual. So you're not a member of this group, you're an individual. You're not a member of this religion because you're an individual. You're not a supporter of this football team like everybody else in town because you're an individual. That's what one might think, but Jung tells you no, it's not true. When you do individuation, and you go through individuation, which simply means becoming who you already really truly are in the unconscious, in that world, by doing that, individuation, you will gather the world to you. You participate in the world by becoming an individual, because it's you becoming the individual. Yes, you'll support that football team if you really like that football team. Just because you live in Cleveland doesn't mean you have to support the Cleveland Browns, though you might support the Cleveland Browns. Somebody in Houston might support the Cleveland Browns. Just because your mother and father, uncles and grandfathers, going back 300 years, were all Republicans does not mean you have to be a Republican. You have to be what you truly believe in, what is right for you. That's all based on the you that exists in the unconscious. Be the you in the unconscious. Don't be the you that your uncle and grandfather expect you to be. Be the you that makes you happy, the real you. And finally, the last quote, individuation is only possible with people and through people. Individuation. Can you become an individual on an island? No, not according to a deserted island, alone in the desert. He says individuation is only possible through people. And what he means by this is this. You must realize that you are a link in a chain. A link in a chain, which fits in quite well with modern quantum physics, where many people believe that consciousness is one thing, and that little pieces of that one thing are you and me. I'm a little piece, you're a little piece. But we're not separate from. We're separate in the sense that we have our own identity, but we are linked to all other living people. Individuation, only possible through people and with people, according to Jung. Now we can move on to Abraham Maslow. This is what he says about self-actualization. What a man can be, he must be. What a man can be, that means his potential, he must become. That's self-actualization. And if you don't, he says you must. What happens if you don't? Depression, mental illness. This need we call self-actualization. It refers to man's desire for self-fulfillment, namely to the tendency for him to become actually in what he is potentially, to become everything one is capable of becoming. And you won't be happy until you do. You probably feel it inside you now. There's more in there. There's more that can be done. There's more greatness, to be honest with you. You probably feel that. Put it in the comments section, honestly, if you do feel that. Next quote, a musician must make music. An artist must paint. A poet must write. If he is to be ultimately at peace with himself. And let me ask you, don't you accept that? Don't you believe that? I'll bet you 98 people out of 100 believe that. They know it. Lots of you know it beyond a doubt. A musician must make music. An artist must paint. And a poet must write. If he is to be at peace with himself. You know that's true. What a man can be, he must be. Can be means potential. You could do this, you could become a writer, you got to become a writer. You could be a musician, you could be both. You've got to do it if you want to be at peace with yourself, to be contented. If not, you're wasting your life. This need we may call self-actualization. It's a need. Self-actualization is the need to become what you were meant to be, to become what you are inside, but to become that on the outside, in the three-dimensional reality. In the 16 hours that we spend away from the unconscious, we spend it in the three-dimensional reality. And what a man can be, he must be. That's simply self-actualization. Let's go on. We have two more quotes. Self-actualized people live more in the real world of nature than in the mass of concepts, abstractions, expectations, beliefs, and stereotypes that most people confuse with the world. So first of all, he says that most people confuse the world with man-made concepts, man-made abstractions. An abstraction, something like freedom, dignity, humility. Those are abstractions. They don't exist in the real world. Bring me in a pound of humility, or 18 volts of humility, 17 grams of humility. They're abstractions. They have no physical mass. Humility doesn't. Freedom doesn't. Dignity doesn't. Conservatism doesn't. Liberalism doesn't. Those are abstractions and concepts and expectations. We're all supposed to get rich. We should all become rich. You'll be happy when you're rich. You'll be happy when you retire. From the moment a school teacher gets hired, he or she should look forward to retirement. As soon as they can, they want to get out. That's an expectation. Is it true? I personally have counseled many school teachers who have worked until they were 80 years old. When we started, they thought they were going to quit as soon as they possibly could. And now, they do what they want to do. They don't go by expectations, what society expects engineers to do and teachers to do, Republicans to do, Christians to do. Beliefs. Now, a belief is just something that is unfounded. A belief might be real, it might be false. You might believe that all white people are good and all people of color are bad. And so you feel safe when you walk through a neighborhood where until a white person runs up and kills you dead. Because you were wrong, your belief was wrong. White people aren't good and black people are bad. All people are the same. Color doesn't matter. Which, by the way, I believe was exactly the beliefs of Dr. Martin Luther King. Not that anyone is better in any way, but we're all just as bad as each other and just as good, irregardless of race, religion, skin color. And I think a lot of people have been surprised when they've been cheated by people they thought couldn't cheat them because they were the right color to trust. And the stereotype, it's an interesting thing. You learn that. A stereotype is a learned concept. It says that everybody's the same. All Jews are the same. All Christians are the same. All Italians are the same. All Polish people are the same. You can have a positive stereotype. You can say, wow, all Asian students are smart. That's positive. It can work for you. Or you can have a negative stereotype. It says that all people of color are no good and should be deported. Should have never come here in the first place. It's a negative stereotype. The issue is, what we're talking about here, is that it's all of them. You don't allow for any variation. There can't be one bad white person and there can't be one good black person. It's a stereotype. People like that are fools and they'll pay for it. People that believe things like that, you're a fool. Don't think for a minute, for a moment, that we only have white racists. Every time you show me a white racist that hates black people, I will show you a black racist who hates white people. It's the truth. Absolute truth. And every time you show me a white criminal, I'll show you a black one. There's no race that's better. And if you believe that, you're going to be hurt in life. You're going to fail to trust the people you should, and you're going to trust the people you shouldn't, and you'll pay. You'll be cheated. You need to be right. You need to be accurate. And with a stereotype, you don't judge people individually. You judge them en masse in one group. They're all the same. And you know the stereotypes. And he says that most people confuse the world. They believe the world, what the world is, what it's made up of, are concepts, abstractions, expectations, beliefs, and stereotypes. That's what most people think the world is, and it certainly isn't. And self-actualizing people live in the real world, where stereotypes don't exist, and positive bias. A positive bias is as bad as a negative bias. They're both wrong. It goes to the concept of, you've heard the expression, better an optimist than a pessimist be. Better to be an optimist than a pessimist. So, is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? Well, the optimist says that the glass is half full. And the pessimist says, no, the glass is half empty. So, who's right? So is it better to be an optimist? Is it better to believe that glass is half full? No. You're just as wrong. That half full glass is half empty. And that half empty glass is half full. The self-actualizing person, individualized person, believes the glass is both half full and half empty at the same time, doesn't ignore the half empty glass to see the half full glass. He's right. He will not be wrong. But the person who's too optimistic, as better an optimist than a pessimist be, the person who's too optimistic will be wrong. And when he's wrong, he will be hurt in life. And the pessimist, he'll be too negative and he will also suffer. They're both wrong. Only the realist, which the self-actualizing person is, believes that the glass is both half full. Would never doubt it. So is that glass half full or half empty? Both. It's true. Both statements are true. The glass is half full, and at the same time, it is half empty. I hope that makes some sense to you. And finally, the last quote from Maslow I have for you is this. It's a very good one. One can choose to go back towards safety or forward towards growth. Growth must be chosen again and again, and fear must be overcome again and again. It's so true. To move forward in life, you have to move away from all the safe things. You have to move away from all the comfort, all the lies that comfort you, all the false beliefs that comfort you but stop you from growing. You must choose to go forward towards growth and not back towards safety. You know where you've been. You've conquered it. You've done it. What's that mean? It means you pay your bills on this day, you wash your clothes on that day. You put a garden in June. You get your car inspected twice a year. You see your doctor once a year. It works. Don't change anything. Do not try a new class at the college. Do not try a new activity. Just leave it alone. Don't make any changes. And that's what unhealthy people do. See it all the time in therapy. And over time and with growth, you can get people to try new things, to move away from the old things that don't work to the new things that do work. And it's fearful. It's fearful to move ahead, to try something new. When you know that works. That works. The way I did it works. The way I do it works. But the new way, taking those guitar lessons, that might be fulfilling, but oh no. Then I won't be able to watch TV on Tuesday night if I'm taking a lesson. And that means I might have to move up the day I wash clothes because I need clean clothes to go to my music lesson. No, just leave it alone. No growth. It's never going to get any better. It's tolerable the way it is, but you're never going to get better. Probably things will become worse in your life. You'll be paralyzed by fear to move forward and try new things. This is Analytical Media. We hope this has helped you. I hope this has helped you. I hope it's brought some insight. Leave some comments. Subscribe. Like this. Share this with people. It helps the algorithm to help other people. This will be sent out by YouTube to other people. On that note, please take care. I hope everything's gone well for you, your friends, and your family. And look for our next video. Be safe.